Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're cutting right through the hype to decode the exact mechanics of a high-speed trading strategy that's been making some serious waves online. We are bypassing all the noise and diving straight into the source material to map out this raw, one-minute scalping blueprint. But, okay, before we get into the actual technical blueprint, we kind of have to acknowledge the hook. The creator actively targets viewers who are looking to flip small accounts, and they want to do it fast. They lean heavily into that classic lifestyle flex, quoting their journey from literally nothing to Lambos and Rolls Royces. Now, we're obviously not here to audit their garage today. We're just here to neutrally deconstruct the actual mechanical rules they claim paid for all of it. So here is our roadmap. Number 1, the promise of scalping. 2, step 1, market direction. 3, step 2, finding entries. 4, stacking your confirmations. And finally, number 5, the trader's psychology. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the promise of scalping. High speed, small accounts. The whole core appeal of this method is just its sheer speed and accessibility. The source specifically targets users who might not have massive capital to start with, people looking to flip smaller amounts of money. They also heavily promote leveraging prop firms, specifically name-dropping clarity traders, so you can trade with larger pools of someone else's capital, all while utilizing these hyper-fast, one-minute charts to get in and out of the market in a flash. And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about here, the creator casually mentions being up $44,000 on a single trade and pulling in nearly 50 grand in just one day. Obviously, those are massive attention-grabbing numbers. So how exactly does this blueprint work? Let's break down step 1. Moving into section 2. Step 1, market direction, the macro view. Okay, here is the first kind of counterintuitive rule of this one-minute strategy. You never actually start on the one-minute chart. Crazy, right? To avoid the absolute chaos of those micro movements, the very first step is pulling back to the 5-minute time frame. You're looking for price exhaustion, finding those strong support or resistance zones with multiple touches. You absolutely have to establish the macro direction before you ever zoom in. Which brings us to section 3, step 2, finding entries, the micro view. Once that macro direction is set, then we zoom into the micro view. We pull up that 1-minute chart to hunt for the setup. Say we're looking for a bullish setup, right? A buy. The strict rule here is waiting for a higher high, followed by a higher low, and crucially, a new higher high. Think of it like a staircase. You don't just guess that the trend is shifting. You wait for the stairs to physically form in front of you. So, the trend is shifting. But where exactly do you pull the trigger? Because pinpointing that exact moment is really what separates a true strategy from just taking a wild guess. Well, the answer is the breakout. Your entry happens specifically when the price breaks past a previous zone, whether that is support, resistance, or a trend line. But here's the key detail. It must be confirmed by strong candle structure. You don't just jump in because a price wicks past a line for a second. You wait for solid candle body closures to prove that the momentum is actually real. And once you're in, the execution becomes purely mechanical. You immediately apply a nice tight stop loss to protect your capital. Then you target a 1-to-3 or 1-to-5 risk-to-reward ratio, meaning for every $10 you risk, you are aiming to make 30 or 50. But again, no guessing here. You look left on the chart and place your profit targets at logical previous market highs or lows. All right, section 4, stacking your confirmations, the math of winning. Now, what really elevates this from a straight-up gamble to an actual strategy is this concept of stacking confirmations. The source argues you never, ever want just one reason to enter a trade. In their prime setup, they are waiting for 3 simultaneous signals. Things like a macro 5-minute resistance holding, combined with a micro 1-minute support breaking, plus a 1-minute trendline breaking, all happening at the exact same time. By stacking these confirmations, the creator claims you are actively bending the math in your favor. Random buys and sells, that's basically a 50-50 coin toss. But by aligning these 3 distinct technical signals, they claim you can take that win probability all the way up to a massive 80%. And that leads us to section 5. The trader's psychology, data versus emotion. Beyond just the mechanics of the charts, the source highlights this really critical psychological divide between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs, they stare at the fluctuating P&L on their phones. They see they're up $300, they react with anxiety, and they let that dollar amount dictate when they exit. Professionals ignore the money completely. They stare exclusively at the chart, reacting only to objective data and market structure. Now, of course, context is totally key here. We have to note that this free strategy breakdown ultimately acts as a funnel into a paid ecosystem. For $39.99 a month, the creator pitches live trading streams, a quote-unquote king mindset psychology course, plus real estate and tax loop advice. It's basically a vast lifestyle upsell, all built right on the back of this scalping method. But the ultimate hook, right? The main reason this strategy captures so much attention online is time efficiency. The promise is that by mastering this intense 1-minute strategy, your entire trading day takes a maximum of 30 minutes. You find the breakout, you take the profit, and you literally close the laptop. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating dynamic. You've seen the macro to micro breakdown, the stacked math, and the strict robotic rules. So we'll leave you with this. Does logically deconstructing this strategy make you want to master the 1-minute chart to capture a 30-minute workday? Or does the intense need for split-second, emotionless discipline make you want to steer clear entirely? Thanks so much for joining this explainer. And remember to always keep questioning the mechanics behind the hype.